agencies like yourself, I'd love you to get on it. I'd love you to implement it with customers, and I'd love you to start getting feedback for us. We're really innovating. We're really changing things. I think we're a couple of years at this point into this revolution, how AI can impact automation. So I actually think there's this incredible opportunity for businesses out there and for our customer base to really adopt automation and adopt AI automation.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. We have a special guest today, Andy Berman, the Director of AI at Zapier. This is a conversation I'm very excited to have to discuss Central and how that's going to affect us as AI automation agency owners and the kind of new platform we're starting to see with the no-code, low-code side of things that could replace a lot of the hard work we're doing on more custom solutions. This was an awesome opportunity for myself and for the community. Wade, the CEO of Zapier, reached out after my recent video talking about Central. Said, hey, look, let's see something up here. And now we have Andy here in front of us. So, Andy, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, I don't want to waste anyone's time here, so let's just jump straight into Zapier Central. Can you give us an overview of what you internally at Zapier see it as being and where it's looking to go? I think a lot of us have our own impressions of playing around with it and seeing what it is. But it's definitely more of a hybrid than sort of one or the other. So give us a bit of a background on.
At Zapier, we believe Central is the next evolution in evolving automation for the AI age. It's available to everyone in a public preview, and it's a new AI workspace where customers can build, teach, and work hand in AI bots. I think if you're familiar with what's going on in AI today, everyone else is calling these AI agents, and these are bots that you can customize with your business data, and they can handle tasks across 6,000 apps, and you can accelerate your business. They also have access to dynamic data sources. Today, that's Notion, Google Sheets, Docs, and a number of others. And Airtable, yes, Airtable, that came out this week.
New edition.
New edition. And coming soon, you'll see another one next week. And so what those allow you to do is build workflows off of processes that are stored in your documents or your databases. And really what it does is it puts our customers in the driver's seat to automate even more work with their friendly AI bots.
Well, yeah, I think the very interesting part about Central, if you're watching this and you haven't had a chance to jump in and take a look, it's the combination of what we'll be used to with GPTs and OpenAI kind of jumping in there and creating these conversational agents. You can have knowledge, you can have tools. But you guys have taken that a step further and combining what I've always sort of seen as a bit of an issue with agents in the current state is that the sort of scheduled back-end tasks that don't necessarily need a conversational input, you guys have tied that into the same interface. So can you give us a breakdown of the human in the loop aspect and sort of trigger when I send a message versus the sort of more traditional Zapier automation side and why you pull this together into one?
Yeah, I think from our perspective is there really isn't, these aren't different platforms. So I think there's a synchronous use case when you want to chat with information, when you want to chat with your data or chat with your knowledge source. And then that typically leads to how am I going to automate some process? And those processes can happen once a day, they can happen once an hour, they can happen once a week. And we want to enable those workflows for our users. And the goal of this is to make it much easier to run complex workflows on Zapier, and to do that to get time to value much faster. So really allowing you to get up to speed, get a workflow built in a lot less time than it was historically possible with Zapier.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of hard to explain to people just how much of a big leap this is. And I try to describe Zapier Central and sort of the AI glue that's holding this together as some kind of glue that instead of having to pair up the inputs and outputs of the different steps in your Zapier, your automation, it's the AI kind of intelligently being able to pluck in and pull them into the right fields as they go. So what's the most difficult part of that be for you? I know the sort of intent space and trying to get things working there, but is there much more improvements coming on the AI side? Because I know there's some speed issues. What's the roadmap for these sort of next improvements for Zapier Central in the short term?
Well, I think it's everything from speed to a number of UX improvements to integrations that you can imagine with a lot more data sources. And I don't want to give away all our secrets, but I mean, we're shipping improvements on a daily and weekly basis right now, and it's day one. That's really where we are for Central today.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most surprising thing for me as soon as I got in there was the dynamic data aspect, which is something that I haven't seen done anywhere. Are you aware of anyone else who's providing dynamic data options?
I'm not. It's a great question. I was hoping you could answer that to me because it's
I
come
mean,
up
I
a bunch this week. I haven't seen it.
no, that's why I was so shocked when I saw it. I said, man, this is something even for my own SaaS, which is just sort of a people compared to what you guys are trying to do, but we're looking at solving this knowledge base problem with the OpenAI ecosystem in particular, and saying, look, how can we make dynamic knowledge bases where it's very easy to manage the information inside of them? And I think that's such a leap that you guys are now offering that connection to Google, to Notion, to Airtable, and things like this to be able to chat with data. Because if you're having some kind of centralization of say where the CEO of a business or the ops guy of a business can come on and say, okay, let me try to manage a lot of the business from this point of view. Uh, Not having dynamic data makes the thing completely useless, right? It's like, well, if I'm trying to ask questions about my sales data from my e-commerce store and it's not dynamic, there's no point in it at all.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite example is always a salesperson. So after they get off the call, what you can end up doing is you can compare the competitors mentioned to what's in a Google Doc, and the competitors can be added live. So a sales manager or somebody else can be constantly adding to this data source, and if the salesperson forgets to mention a competitor or it can then DM them and remind the user. And this concept of dynamic data sources is really foreign to the end user because in ChatGPT, the only thing you can really do is upload a file.
Yeah,
And now instead you can connect to
connect the file.
anything from to one of your Notion or a Google Sheet, and as those data sources are constantly updated, we're running a connection, and you can run your automation from that in addition to just chatting with the data.
And I think from my self-taught developer level of understanding, it seems like you guys are taking in from my own playing around, is that you're taking in, say, a Google Sheet, converting to CSV, and then putting that into a database structure. Then you're also writing the queries against that. So you're doing text to SQL to query those different documents, right? Because I tried it off with one, and it sort of seems a little bit overboard to just deal with one document. But as soon as you have lots of different things connected in there, it's like, okay, well, this is why they've done it this way. They're doing full text to SQL translation to look up the information in it, and treat it more like a database.
I'm not going to tell you all our secrets, but what you
But for
can
sure.
do, what you can do is we show you if you actually
Console.
are in the product, we show you what some of the code is actually
Yep.
running. So for a more advanced user, you can get a sense of what we're doing.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, but I can't say it. Okay. Anyway, for my audience in particular and our community here, we're very much focused on this AI agency opportunity, which is something that we've been really, really hot on since about this time last year, which was I had my own development company, and then we started to see that we could, instead of delivering custom coded AI solutions, we could also deliver the same customized chatbot was typically the thing to be selling, but with these low code and no code tools. And that's kind of what all this opportunity has been based on, and the community we've built here. So for agencies and people who are looking to build and sell these solutions, how do you think we can plan our usage of Central? Because I know Zap is very much intended to. It's not the most friendly on the agency side. It's definitely let's get it set up on the business and the business can manage it. So for us as agencies wanting to make the most of the Central opportunity, how can we get involved? Is there anything you'd recommend for us to be able to use it as an agency rather than as the business themselves?
So I think for agencies in general, what Central opens up is really vast playground to innovate and offer specialized AI solutions. I think our product is from an agentic workflow product, one of the most, if not the most for ahead product in the market. And I think what we consistently hear from our customers is this is the type of tooling they want to adopt in their company. And so I see there's a massive opportunity with Central as a product today. Where we are, the product launch on March 6th in public preview. And so right now we're not monetizing it, and we're focusing purely on building the product, getting feedback. And so agencies like yourself, I'd love you to get on it. I'd love you to implement it with customers, and I'd love you to start getting feedback for us. And what you'll see for us over the next couple months is we're really innovating. We're really changing things. And it's the first time we've ever announced a public preview. Historically, we release things in alpha or beta. This is time we're building in public with the community. And so I think as an agency, there's a lot of opportunity to help shape our roadmap.
Yeah, I noticed that it was quite a quiet launch. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. It seems like you didn't want to. I mean, with anything, when you try to build up the scale to deal with thousands and thousands of new users on it, it's probably in your best interest to say, okay, let's just, because no one was really talking about it when I put my video out. It had been out for a little while, so I was like, oh, can't believe this hasn't been talked about more. I'll go back to what you said on the pricing side of things. Is there anything you can tell us on the pricing side? I thought, man, if I was running Zapier, this would be the smartest way to just drive a whole bunch more usage to like charging on Zaps on a usage basis. So is that the kind of play here where it's okay, we can make it the easier we can make it to create these automations, set up these apps, the more usage we're going to use and the more revenue we're going to drive. So what's the pricing strategy? You said you're not monetizing it yet, but is it going to be more of just a Zap based or some other method?
I think in everything that we've seen in it, every tool that we've seen in AI, it is usage based. So I'm not familiar with anything in the agent space that's not a usage based tool right now, because models themselves are usage based and compute itself is usage based. So AWS and say anything from Anthropic to OpenAI to Gemini. I think you'll have to stay tuned to see what the actual pricing model looks like.
Okay.
But I promise you, it'll be helping our customers and our agencies drive value for their customers.
Yeah, I was thinking it might have been a case of, if you're going to undercut OpenAI, you could say, okay, we make our money on the Zaps and on the actions, but hey, don't worry about the tokens. That's just a little grain of sand in the wind. But okay, we'll have to wait on that. Another key question that everyone, it seems to be bashing down the door about, is the option of deploying the bots you create to other platforms. I'm not sure. Maybe a lot of my people who watch my channel, they see me putting chatbots on websites and on WhatsApp and on Instagram DMs and things like this. Is there any plans to allow? I know there are some Zaps that allow you to send messages on a Facebook Messenger bot for a Facebook page. Is there anything intended to allow Central to get outside of Central, which is probably a bit counterintuitive, but that's the questions they were asking.
So I think for website, Zapier has another product called Chatbots. And I think for embedding in web, that's a really good product that I'd recommend your users check that product out. I think Zapier as a company has always listened to our users. And I would sit there and say, I would expect there are ways to interact with the bot with other internal tools coming in the future. But again, I think, as I said with pricing, it's anyone today can try it. That's the beauty of it. And we want your feedback. And all you have to do is go to zapier.com/central, and you can check out the landing page and take a look at the product. And we're learning from our users. This is a new product and it's a new medium. And I think we're a couple of years at this point into this revolution of how AI can impact automation. And so I would recommend you try it, and I'd recommend giving us feedback. And from there, we're going to implement what our customers want.
All right, you guys heard it, right? Just smashing the customer support, and we'll get the features we want. Maybe if we as a community can sum together and just tell Zapier exactly what we need to make money with our solutions, right?
Be nice to our support folks; they work really hard.
Oh, don't worry, everyone on this channel is really nice. They leave me lovely comments as well. Compliance and GDPR and things like this. This is always a question that comes up for agencies in particular, saying, "Hey, look, if I'm going to be selling solutions to people." A lot of the time, the customer themselves is going to be coming to us and saying, well, okay, this AI stuff is really concerning with the data, where it's going. Is there anything you can tell us? I know sometimes there's a whole guy for managing this, and you might be a little bit hands off, because I know it could be a messy issue, but is there anything that you can tell us on the compliance side and GDPR and things like this that's could allow us to pass it on to customers and say, hey, look, Andy Berman and the Zapier team said this. This is what they said.
So I think Zapier is one of the most trusted brands in the AI automation space, and and you've come to expect a lot from us. And what I would say is, I would expect in the future those exact same compliance data and such coming to this product. Today we're in public preview. We're not training on user data. We're very transparent on the landing page and the FAQ of what is available today. But the reality of this is it's an earlier product, so we will be building towards all this in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's a lot of the community questions out of the way. I think it's more important, or interesting now at this point in the interview, is to talk to you, Andy, about your thoughts as the director of AI at Zapier. You must have some pretty interesting insights and opinions on where the space is going. So do you have any hot takes or any opinions that you think might be interesting for people to share about the AI automation space? And is it going to be a doomer and things are going to sort of spiral away into chaos, or do you think it's going to be more of a gradual approach? There's so many different varying viewpoints. Yes, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
So I'm an optimist, so I don't believe it's going to go towards chaos. I actually think there's this incredible opportunity for businesses out there and for our customer base to really adopt automation and adopt AI automation. And what I think AI does is it really makes it so much easier to adopt some of these incredibly complicated workflows. I'm familiar with a customer, Siki Chan, and Siki spent 20 hours building one of those 40-step zaps that does multiple model calls at multiple different time periods to automate a lead funnel, which I think is a pretty popular use case, and then draft up communication. What I see is, instead of spending 20 hours on a holiday weekend, a customer like Siki is going to be able to get this up and running in significantly less time. And I think that's a win for everyone in the room. I think what you're going to see from us is we're going to be constantly shipping cutting edge AI-based automation solutions that'll be across the core editor, the classic editor product, and across some of our new products, whether it's chatbots or Central or Canvas or tables and interfaces. We're really iterating, and we're pushing out a lot of products to enable our customers and our community to take advantage of what's going on in the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to touch on is Canvas. I have tried to have a play around, but it didn't seem to. I love the concept, but I'm not quite seeing it yet. So is there anything that I'm missing there? It seems like if I could be able to put in a chatbot as a data source and connect it from there. What's the status of that? I know it is a beta, but is there any information you can give us on us as agencies selling these AI automation solutions, how Canvas might fit into our potential offering in future?
Yeah, I think Canvas is incredibly helpful for is diagramming and thinking through system design, okay. And then working with, and as you're building that system, highlighting to the customer the steps of the workflow. And I think it's a natural extension as you start moving all on Zapier to be able to integrate tables, interface, chatbots, the classic editor, and show the customer that you're working with how does this all play. And I think as the product's in beta, we're still learning also, but I've started using it internally for incredibly complicated systems, and it gives you a lot of insights into how everything flows together. And so I only started using it about 4 weeks ago myself, but I've seen a lot of advantages to seeing how a system actually can work and being able to audit some of the data on the Zapier system across a lot of different products.
Yeah. So are you saying it's because when I was in there, it didn't really seem to have much sort of functional uses? Is it's more of a diagramming thing, as you said, kind of like a Zapier Figma where I can see everything laid out and how it all fits together? Or is it intended to actually connect different parts of, say, if I have a table and if I have an actions or I have Zap set up and a chatbot, okay, is that where I can actually connect them, or is it still more for visuals rather than actually the system themselves?
It's system design into actually going to automation and then being able to share this document and keeping your team aligned on basically all
Yeah.
all the processes in your AI system, if that makes any sense.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think part of the key questions of this conversation is there an opportunity for a Zapier specialized agency, an AI agency that says, look, there's the GPT's opportunity. I can specialize in creating AI agents over here. I can specialize in doing backend automations here. But I think what we're seeing with Central as a lure to bring more people onto the platform is there's the opportunity to specialize as Zapier specific agencies. Hey, look, this whole ecosystem is what we specialize in. And I think that's a completely valid opportunity for people who are looking to get into the space. And as Andy just said, they are shipping incredibly fast. And part of this conversation was just to confirm people who are confused or they're unsure if you want to go all in on, not necessarily all in, or even just spend the week or two that it might take to put some solutions on these platforms, it is worthwhile, and it's not just another platform that's coming up. So Andy, that's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for the clarity you've given us on what we can expect from Central and Zapier moving forward. And I'm extremely excited to share some of the use cases in an upcoming video. I did a hackathon on my free community, $1,000 giveaway, and we got I think 20 submissions or so of all these awesome Central use cases. So Andy, I'll have to flick you a link to that video once it's out. But there's some very cool things that people thought up in the community. So it's been a pleasure, and hopefully be talking to you very soon.
Awesome. And does the giveaway apply to me? Can I show you what the team's building and we can get $1,000?
Yeah, we might have to run it back and do another one, Andy. I'll flick you an email.
All right. It was a pleasure being on.
Cheers, Andy. Bye.